Hey everyone, and welcome in. Today we're diving into something a little different.
Oh, yeah.
It's called The Universal Traveler,
Okay.
and it's a vintage guidebook,
Uh-huh.
but it's less about sightseeing
Right.
and more about navigating the wild world of problem solving and creative thinking.
I like it.
Yeah. So imagine like a toolkit, but disguised as a playful adventure,
Okay.
complete with intriguing techniques and a unique perspective on tackling challenges.
Sounds fun.
So we're going to unpack its core principles,
Okay.
explore its practical techniques, and discuss how this approach can help you in your own life.
It's fascinating how this book,
Yeah.
despite its age,
Yeah.
resonates with modern problem-solving approaches like design thinking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It emphasizes that the same principles used to navigate like complex global issues can be applied to our everyday lives,
Right.
whether we're tackling a big project at work or figuring out how to finally organize that messy drawer.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hold back on big promises either.
Oh, is that right?
It claims to translate highly specialized, computer-assisted problem-solving methods into something accessible for everyone.
Wow.
So we're talking logic,
Okay.
creativity,
Mhm.
even a touch of self-hypnosis.
Wow.
And no, we're not kidding.
You're serious?
I'm serious. We'll get into that later.
Wow. Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
And that's what I find so compelling about this book.
Yeah,
It takes these powerful concepts and distills them into something relatable
right.
and actionable. It encourages readers to apply the same rigor and creativity to a personal dilemma as they would a global crisis,
Right.
emphasizing that the scale of the problem doesn't change the underlying process.
So let's unpack the Universal Traveler's philosophy a bit.
Okay.
One of the main takeaways is this idea that everyone, regardless of their background,
Right.
can benefit from a structured approach to problem solving.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like having a roadmap, even if you're venturing off the beaten path.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it provides guideposts along the way.
Okay.
The book dedicates an entire section to 8 keys to creativity,
Wow.
offering practical tips that are surprisingly relevant even today.
Still.
Yeah. And one that really stands out is the concept of wholeness.
Wholeness.
Yeah.
That sounds intriguing. Can you give me an example? How does that work in practice?
So imagine you're designing a new work scheduling app.
Okay.
A wholeness approach means considering not just the app's features, but also its impact on employee work-life balance,
Oh, wow.
team communication, and even company culture.
Wow.
You're not just building an app, you're impacting an entire ecosystem.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it's about zooming out and seeing the bigger picture,
Exactly.
understanding how everything is interconnected. This book really was ahead of its time.
It really was.
Wow.
And it goes even further, encouraging a sense of playfulness in the problem-solving process.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it literally says, turn things upside down, take them out of context for a different look.
Wow.
That's classic lateral thinking.
I love that. It's like shaking things up, turning them on their head to see them from a fresh perspective.
Right.
Sometimes when we're stuck in a rut,
Yeah,
that's exactly what we need.
absolutely.
And speaking of shaking things up,
Okay.
the Universal Traveler gets even more interesting.
How so?
I was surprised to find an entire section on self-hypnosis.
Really?
Yeah.
And I think that's where some people might get a little hesitant,
Right.
but it's not as mystical as it sounds.
Okay.
The book presents self-hypnosis as a practical method for tapping into the subconscious and reprogramming ingrained behaviors.
Interesting.
Yeah, not some new age mumbo jumbo.
Okay, so they're not messing around.
No, they're serious about it.
And they back it up with a step-by-step guide,
Okay.
emphasizing visualization, repetition, and positive reinforcement. It's about creating a space for your subconscious to explore new possibilities.
Right, and it aligns with research that suggests when approached thoughtfully,
Yeah.
self-hypnosis can be a powerful tool for behavior change and creative problem solving.
Wow.
It's about quieting the conscious mind's chatter and allowing those aha moments to bubble up.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's almost like creating the right conditions for those creative breakthroughs to occur,
Yeah.
like planting seeds and letting them germinate.
Exactly.
So the Universal Traveler, it doesn't just drop these fascinating techniques on you and wish you luck.
Right.
It offers practical guidance on how to actually apply them to real-world challenges.
Absolutely.
And that's where the travel tips come in.
The travel tips. Okay.
Yeah. Those little nuggets of wisdom sprinkled throughout the book. They're like signposts along your problem-solving journey.
Yeah, I like that.
One that stood out to me was, one thing leads to another.
Okay.
It sounds so simple,
It does.
But there's a certain elegance to it.
Right. It really highlights the power of connection making, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
It encourages a mindset of exploration.
Right.
Instead of getting fixated on finding the right answer, immediately you allow yourself to follow the threads of an idea and see where they lead.
It's like that saying, chance favors the prepared mind.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. You never know where a seemingly unrelated thought might lead you.
Right.
It reminds me of how some of the greatest discoveries throughout history happened by accident,
Yeah,
while researchers were exploring something else entirely.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show.
it does.
Yeah.
Precisely. It's about embracing that journey, even when it takes you off the beaten path. And remember, as the book reminds us,
Yeah.
unpleasant memories can get in the way of discovering new experiences.
That's true.
So if you find yourself hitting a wall or resistant to exploring certain avenues,
Right.
it might be helpful to examine whether those roadblocks stem from past experiences or fear of repeating past mistakes.
It's so easy to get stuck in those patterns.
It is.
Those mental ruts.
Yeah.
But this book encourages us to acknowledge those past experiences without letting them dictate our present or future.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about learning from the past
Yeah.
without being imprisoned by it.
Right.
Now, shifting gears a bit, I think it's important to highlight that the Universal Traveler isn't just about finding any solution to a problem.
Right.
It encourages us to strive for solutions that are truly creative.
Okay.
Solutions that not only address the issue at hand, but also spark inspiration and further exploration.
Right. It even goes as far as saying creative solutions should lead, inspire, and provoke.
Yeah,
That's a pretty high bar to set.
it is. And it speaks to the book's belief that problem solving shouldn't be a purely functional exercise.
Right.
It should push boundaries, challenge assumptions, and ultimately generate solutions that open up new possibilities rather than simply maintaining the status quo.
So it's not just about putting out fires. It's about
No.
starting new ones.
Yeah.
In a good way, of course.
Of course, in a good way. It's about solutions that have a ripple effect, inspiring others and contributing to a continuous cycle of learning, growth, and innovation.
Exactly. And I think that ties back beautifully to the book's emphasis on wholeness.
It does.
Yeah.
It's not enough for a solution to just work in isolation.
Right.
It needs to fit into the larger context and have the potential to inspire solutions in other areas.
It's like that idea of the butterfly effect.
Oh, yeah,
Even small actions can have far-reaching consequences.
absolutely.
This book really does encourage us to think bigger, to consider the interconnectedness of things.
Yes.
It's fascinating how these ideas, while presented in a playful, travel-themed way,
Yeah.
actually align with many modern problem-solving frameworks like design thinking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Both emphasize empathy experimentation and a human-centered approach. They both encourage us to embrace ambiguity, view failure as an opportunity for learning,
Yeah.
and most importantly, to iterate our way to success.
It's all about the journey, right?
It really is.
It's like the Universal Traveler was whispering these secrets to the universe decades ago,
Right.
and now we're finally catching up.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. Things
Yeah.
come back around.
It's a good reminder that while the tools and technologies we use to solve problems may evolve,
Right.
the fundamental principles of creative problem solving remain remarkably consistent.
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
It boils down to
Yeah.
cultivating the right mindset,
Okay.
curiosity, adaptability, a willingness to embrace the unknown,
Right.
and a belief in our own ability to navigate complexity.
It's about trusting our inner universal traveler, right?
Exactly.
That sense of adventure and possibility.
Precisely. And that brings me to a final thought for you to consider.
Okay.
Okay, so the book suggests that truly creative solutions not only solve a problem,
Right.
but they also lead, inspire, and provoke.
Mm.
So I'm curious,
Yeah.
what challenge are you facing where a more universal, a more holistic approach to problem solving
Right.
might lead to a truly inspiring outcome?
Yeah.
What journey are you about to embark on?
That's such a great question to end on.
I thought so.
It's like the journey never truly ends, does it?
It really doesn't.
It just leads to new destinations and new possibilities.
And sometimes those unexpected detours
Yeah.
lead to the most rewarding discoveries.
So true. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Universal Traveler.
Yeah, this was great.
We hope you found it insightful and maybe even a little inspiring.
Absolutely.
And remember, the next time you're facing a challenge,
Yeah.
don't just try to solve it,
Okay.
explore it,
Mm-hmm.
question it,
Yeah,
and most importantly, enjoy the ride.
I like it.